Welcome to the Power Packed Podcast. Please be quiet and courteous and silence your cell phones now. Be sure to grab some snacks and concessions, located in the lobby. And now our feature presentation. Prepare for butter.
All the time, wondering if maybe I'm losing my mind. Stepping out to the horizon enemy, or maybe I'm going out to sea. Maybe you should know by now. When I get back, everything will be alright. Seems like I'm out to sea every single night. I hope this old boat will stay afloat as we go.
I hope this old boat will stay afloat as we go.
Don't mind, maybe you'll sink or swim. Oh, I don't mind, maybe you'll sink or swim. Oh, I don't mind, maybe you'll sink or swim. Oh,
Boom, 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 da da down, down. Down, 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 da da down, down.
Yo, VIP.
Down, 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 da da down, down.
Let's kick it.
Down, 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 da da down, down. Down,
ice,
down, down, da da
ice,
down,
baby.
down. Down, 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 da da down, down. Down,
Ice,
down, down,
ice,
down,
baby.
down, down. Down, 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 da da down, down.
Dum 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 da da dum dum. Dum 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 da da dum dum. Dum 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 da da dum dum. Dum 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 da da dum dum.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with a brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly. Flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights and I'll glow. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum.
To the extreme, rock a mic like a vandal. Light up the stage, wax chump like a candle. Dance go, rush to the speaker that booms. I'm killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom. Dum 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 dum.
Deadly. When I play a dope melody, anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it, you better gang way. You better hit bullseye, kid, don't play. If there's a problem, you all solve it. Check out this hook while my DJ revolves it. And then together.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Ice, ice, baby.
Ice. Vanilla ice, baby. Vanilla ice, baby. Vanilla ice, baby. Vanilla ice, baby. This is a long song. We shouldn't do the rest, should we?
I think this is probably like as long as Bohemian Rhapsody, probably like a 5-minute plus song, I imagine, just from that.
Yeah. But we are the Power Pack Podcast, a podcast featuring 2 dudes and 1 ice storm across the United States of America.
Chilly, chilly, chilly. Our podcast and friendship is not mutually exclusive, and it is like Vanilla Ice's career. It's complicated, and yeah, because we're a complicated creature. But anyways, yeah, cold storms across the country. A lot of crazy stuff going on. Are you guys staying warm right now? Are you all good?
No, it's cold. It's super cold. It's really cold.
Yeah.
How is over there?
It's pretty much 100% melted now, but Oregon City, my family in Oregon City is on day 5 of no power.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They just like went and stayed somewhere else. They like got a hotel or something, but yeah, I think they hit a point where there's like, oh, okay, this is like, no. But that's the part that's crazy is Portland and like Portland Metro, all that. They lost power for like, you know, whatever, like how many people there? Probably close to 1 million or whatever in the Metro, everything together. Lost power for like some people multiple days. And somebody I work with lost power, is like they won't get power back on until Thursday. It's just like craziness.
I think Crumb is still out of power. And she sent a picture of inside the house, and there's a drippy icicle on the faucet because it's like 35 degrees in the house.
Oh, because they have no heat. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, that's nuts.
That's crazy. Oh, yeah, because she is in Tejas. So that's...
Yeah. She sent a picture of all the trees, and they're pretty much, it looks like an invisible hand is just squashing them onto the ground because all the ice is just pulling everything down. I was like, that's nutty.
Man, I know like Texas, all that like Midwest got hit really hard, especially. But I know Texas, it was like they're on their own like power grid kind of thing. So I know there's some craziness going on there. So hopefully she gets power and everything back soon. That's just nuts.
Yeah. I mean, we got snow here, not so much, I don't know, ice storm sort of a thing.
Yeah. Same with us. We got fluffy snow. Like I felt bad because like we had a kind of a fun little snowstorm. Like we have a couple of hills nearby, so we went sledding, and we just like walked around and got to kind of enjoy it. And then a couple of days later, it all melted, and we like go back to our lives and stuff. But I know everywhere else it seems like was just crazy ice storms, and same thing with my parents. They had a bunch of trees breaking and falling like on the house, and like branches and stuff, and like full-fledged trees snapping in they're like, because they live near, well, you've been there, there's like a big forest in the back, so it's crazy.
Yeah, it's nutty. I got stuck this morning in my alley.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, the roads are fine here right now because they've been plowed and salted to death, but the little side roads and back roads and alleys are not good. There's still like 3+ inches of snow, and so I was backing out in my little parking spot, and then I was sliding my way down this alley on this like snow, and then so the alley is perpendicular to a street that's been plowed, and so the snow kind of piled up at the end of it.
No,
and I was like, I can make it through. That's not that big of a pile, and then it just piled up underneath my axle, and so I was pretty much floating, and I couldn't. So I pretty much spent 30 minutes this morning with my little ice scraper on my belly in 2-degree weather, scraping out snow from the bottom of my car. And then finally this car pulled over, and I stood up, and I was just covered in snow. They were like, "You need some help?" I was like, "Yes, please." And they pushed me out, and I was able to get out. But I went and got barbecue today, and I couldn't even park on the side of the road because, like, when the plow goes, it pushes all the snow, and there's just piles of snow on the side.
So much
you
snow.
Can't. Yeah, there's only SUVs able to get over that, but my little car is like, I can't even park to get my dinner. What the heck's going on?
Oh man, what a crazy day! Sorry to hear that happen. Like that always is the worst when it's in the morning. Like you're trying to start your day, go to work, but. I applaud you for the due diligence, just getting out of there and like, I'm just going to scrape away. And it's always the side roads. Like it's always the side roads that get me, like when I, in the past, like driving the snow and stuff, it's like, the main ones are fine, but then you get these back ones and it's just like piled up snow or ice or whatever. And it's just nutty.
Dude, they're bad. And I couldn't even get in my parking lot. Or my parking space at home. I had to park on the street because I started to slide and it wouldn't go up it's not even a hill. It's just like a little slope and it flattens out. I couldn't even get up that. And I was like, this is dumb. So I was like, maybe I should go buy a snow shovel. And then I thought, it's going to be 50 degrees next week. I can wait.
It'll melt. But yeah, that's some craziness. I know. Is it like legit, like almost 0 degree, like 0 degrees there?
I know last week we had some -2.
Whoa.
Let me see. When it was snowing all crazy over the weekend, it was, I think, single digits, 0 to single digits. Right now it's 18 degrees.
Whoa, that's still so cold. Oh my gosh.
It's really cold.
So
it's like a harsh, frigid, like you walk outside and you just
hits. That exact impression is definitely
oh Bobby.
That's some crazy. That sounds so foreign to me because it's so like mild up here in the Pacific Northwest, and it got cold. It got in like the 30s. I think a couple days we were in like the high 20s, which is like, oh, it's so cold. But yeah, hearing about like the Midwest or back that way. And, cause Andrea went to college in Western Pennsylvania, and she said there would be like, sometimes negative degree weather. And, that's just chilly.
But it's weird because, like, even though it's so cold, the roads are still mostly fine because it's so dry.
Yeah, that helps definitely.
Yeah, so it's not, when it freezes, it doesn't, like if it was in Oregon, it's always wet and moist. So if it freezes, usually the roads are bad. It's like, oh, can't go out. But here it's like, oh, it's negative, whatever, but there's no moisture, so you're good. It's like, okay.
Oh, that's a good point. So it doesn't rain a lot, is what you're saying. So it's like kind of dry in St. Louis.
Well, I mean, it rains, but like when it's winter weather and it gets so cold and it doesn't really freeze over as much as other places. It's just dry and cold.
Dry and cold. That's crisp, but it's like, it kind of hits differently than when it's like you said, it's like wet and cold. So,
yeah, because I remember when we lived in Oregon, it hit like 30 degrees and things would be delayed, and because the roads are frozen and there's always moisture and wetness everywhere. And here it's like, it's good. You can make it.
Yeah, it's like,
it's like, okay.
I imagine they don't shut everything down like they do, like Portland when it, for good reason, but when it snows, it's like, it's just everything shut down. It's just, you can't go anywhere.
I wish they would, because I've had to use 2 days of PTO because I couldn't get out because it's freaking snow everywhere. And then the one day I did go, the first day, because like the side roads, like you said, are usually the worst. And then when you get on the highway, it's usually much better. Well, this particular day, the side roads were meh, but so were the highways. And I was like, oh, this wasn't a good idea.
Oh,
but I made it to work. And then my coworker came in late, and he told me he saw a 6-car pileup happen right in front of him, and he was almost a part of it.
Whoa.
Like, oh, jeez.
Hate hearing that when you have to, that's the worst when you hear that stuff and you still have to go home. You're like, I don't want to drive home now. Like,
right. And then Monday was when it really hit. And so I looked outside and it wasn't bad. I mean, my gauge of whether I'm going to work or not is can I see the road and how much of the road?
Yes.
This was maybe about, I could see 50% of the road. And so I was like, nah, I need to see at least, 70, 80% of the road, and then I'm good. And so sure enough, later that day, it just dumped. And then I couldn't even see the road by like 10 o'clock in the morning. And so driving home, and that would have been the worst. So I'm glad I didn't go to work.
That's smart. A smart move. And it's so tricky with like, the snow and commuting and everything like that. And it's like you have to have that, like you said, the right balance where you're like, okay, do I need to like take the day off? Because it's like it's better to just take the day off than like get out there and yep, exactly. Simply put. And a lot of the times too, when I'm out driving, like I know I'm going to drive as safe as I can due to the conditions and everything. I just get scared about everybody else. Like, it's like, okay, this person, because you get people who go out there in like, rear wheel drive vehicles with bald tires, and they just like drive like nothing's going on, and then they just like slide and hit you, or they slide off the road. It's just like craziness. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was going, on that one day I went to work, I was going 40 because there was clearly stuff on the road. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to go 40, probably less than that. There were cars just, I was like, you guys are crazy.
When I see that.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, when I see that, like when I used to have to commute on I-5 and there's a snowstorm. And yeah, I was in the far right lane, going like less than I should, and everybody else doing that. And yeah, and you get these people who are just zooming by, and it's always funny when you see them do that, and then they are slipping around. It's like, what on earth are you doing?
You rascals.
A couple of rascal flats,
So one of the podcasts I listen to, which a friend turned me on to, take some water, get a gulp in there. Gorsh, Max. Gorsh. It's called Casual Preppers, and they teach you how to prep for all sorts of scenarios.
Ooh.
And I think it'd be fun to, tap into that market in our JJ Fresh way, how to prep for an ice storm. And one of the things I've been researching was generators, but you're not always going to have fuel. Yep. So you go to the pet store, you can buy gerbils for next to nothing. and you can buy those plastic wheels for next to nothing, and you can hang those wheels onto one of your walls. Just find a blank wall, hang up. I don't know, you could probably fit 500, 1,000 hamster wheels.
Yeah.
Fill it with hamsters, and then attach wires to your generator, and you won't lose heat for as long as those hamsters are alive.
Yep, exactly. So that's brilliant. And I just immediately, because I'm kind of a visual person, I thought of sitting in that room and how bad it smells with 500 hamsters. And it's just that smell, it's like warm and it's like that, like it's like the cage smell. But that's brilliant, because it's the thing with hamsters or gerbils is like that's such cheap energy, because you're getting these small little rodents and they want to run. That's what they want to do. There's nothing inhumane about it. They're going to do that regardless. Why not tap into that market of that, their interests, and then utilize it? It's just like using the sun for solar panels. It's like, oh, you're exploiting the sun by taking its energy and using. It's like, no, it's like, it's the same thing with the gerbils. They're going to run. Why not let them run, have a good time? And then, like you said, you just got to feed them and make sure they're watered, and then you got a generator. I think that's brilliant.
Right, like you're snowed in, you have your hamsters going, you're having a Harry Potter marathon with your significant other, you're on the Goblet of Fire, and all of a sudden, the TV starts flickering. So maybe you have a little spray bottle, you spray those little slacker hamsters that are not pulling their weight anymore. My TV's flickering, squirt! And they run a little faster. Maybe you have a little battery-powered taser. Give one of them a zap. So there's ways to fight back against the fatigue that the hamster might feel after 10 hours of running on a wheel. And they're disposable. You can kind of like in Red Dead Redemption, you can just run your horse to death. You can just, hamsters are cheaper than horses, so there's no limit on how many hamsters you can get. So don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Hamsters aren't even pets, really. What do? They eat their babies? They bite your fingers?
They do eat their babies. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they can make your TV work for a Harry Potter marathon. Don't feel bad.
Speaking of hamsters, directly related to that, I saw a meme where people are like, which it was kind of funny at first, because I was like, I had the same weird thought. Someone's like, yo, where do hamsters exist in real life? Like, besides a pet store. And that made me, like, I was curious by that. I was like, where are hamsters naturally occurring? Because when you think of certain pets that are almost like bred for domestication, because it's easy with dogs and cats. Like, they like were evolutionized and domesticated from different animals, and but with hamsters, it's like, where are hamsters from? So I'll give a fun fact to where hamsters. I got to look it up again. Hamsters in the wild. Wild hamsters are found throughout much of Europe and Asia, and it's hilarious. I think this picture in particular, I'm gonna copy and put. This one popped up. I can identify with this hamster. I'll just put it in. I'll put it in. Where do you usually put it? Podcast content?
Yeah.
There you go.
For all the people who want to see what we're talking about.
Yeah, there you go.
Crumb Baby's eating chocolate in bed. She has not learned her lesson.
No, it's like, it's funny because one of your rap lyrics from that song was something about chocolate in bed. That's like really, you just guessed.
Just reliving the past.
Yeah. Reliving.
Wow, look at that big thing.
It's a thick with like 3 C's.
Thick boy.
Thick. But yeah, hamsters, they're kind of goofy looking creatures, but yeah, they exist in the wild, if anyone was wondering.
You know what? You know how we could become, I don't know, probably billionaires. So there's all these crypto coins going on. There's, I don't know, there's like a zillion of them. So we start a blockchain. I don't know how any of this works, by the way, so I'm just speaking nonsense right now. We have, however that works, on a computer or a bunch of computers from pictures I've seen. However you do anything of this to create magic, you have it powered by hamster wheels and you call it hamster coin.
Ooh.
And I think people would just purchase hamster coin for the novelty that this is only powered by hamsters.
I love that. I mean, I would invest in hamster coin. Because think about that. You're like, this is the, because if you know, you have a couple points with it. It's very green. You know, it's fuel. Yeah, like they harness the energy through that. You're not using fossil fuels. You're not using oil or gasoline, things like that. You're using hamster energy, and I think people would go crazy for that.
Yeah, it's putting hamsters to work. I mean, the picture you posted on podcast content in our Discord channel, link in the description below, is a giant fat hamster who wouldn't be that way if he was powering hamster coin. We would be doing him a service. He would be generating hamster coins for us, and it would just make it the ecosystem, the economic system of hamster coin. I think it would just be an all-around net positive for everyone involved.
I think so too. I truly think so, and I think that's something I would invest in pretty quick, without a doubt.
And maybe we can harness the like the sweat from the hamster. Maybe it'll evaporate into like a mist. Maybe we can have something harnessing the steam, and we can make something steam powered. We can maybe cook some dumplings above these hamsters' sweat in a what do you call them? Like a steam pot. We can steam dumplings above these hundreds of hamsters sweating steam.
That reminds me of that disgusting and horrific like bus thing we were talking about, where it was like
the party weasel bus or whatever.
The party weasel bus, yeah. That reminds me just of that. So we could have one thing that's the party weasel bus, and then we could have more of a brick and mortar kind of shop that's hamsters that cook and steam these dumplings. So it's like hamster dumplings, which sounds really gross.
And we could have, you know how there's some restaurants where they have a weird vehicle that kind of promotes the restaurant? Like here, there's a chicken place and they have a car and they have a giant chicken head on top of it with a giant tail on the back.
That's cool.
So we have the hamster tank, and instead of tank treads, we have a bunch of hamster wheels with hamsters in them, and there's treads around like 10 different hamster wheels. So it looks like a tank tread. It's just hamsters and wheels inside. And we have a little hamster head as the body of the tank, and and maybe that's where our food cart goes. Maybe it's pulling the food cart.
Ooh, it's just like the food cart is just, you know, when you pull a trailer, it has like the hazard lights blinking. It's like you literally just have it hooked by like a chain and a wire. I imagine that. It's like we're like free floating kind of.
Yeah, and it's one of those niche food carts that only sell one item, and we sell the hamster dumplings, which are the dumplings steamed from the hamsters mining the hamster coin. And also we use the hamsters who die of heat exhaustion from being worked to death in the dumplings.
As the meat.
It's 100% hamster. It's 100% clean energy. It's 100% profitable for us.
Exactly. It's the most important aspect too. There you go. That's brilliant. I mean, you're like the next Elon Musk. I
mean, he's tackling space and internet and electronic cars, and we're tackling hamsters, coins, and dumplings.
Dumplings. It's beautiful, is what it is. That's pure poetry.
Oh, the hamster tank. That's my new dream.
I think it's great.
We have an email. Fresh, hot off the press.
Whoa. Quick.
We can do a Butterdome mini.
We could do like a Butterdome light.
It's topical.
Topical.
It fits with what we're saying, because we're talking about hamsters dying, becoming dumplings, and eating them in a dumpling tank. Okay, if you were on death row, what would your last meal be? Sincerely, Crumb.
Oh, wow. Hamster dumplings. Said and done.
Hamster dumplings. Sign me up for the beta test.
Yeah, beta test. It's just like,
I'll beta test some dumplings.
Hamster dumplings. That seems like definitely something they could have a factory in Ohio just busting out hamster dumplings.
Just like buckets of hamsters being poured into a vat.
It's disgusting. Ew. So gross.
But of course they have to be like defurred. You don't want no furry dumplings.
Can you imagine just eating and there's just like a big chunk of fur or like a paw or
Apple
something.
bomb jeans with the dumplings with the fur. With the fur.
The whole club has food poisoning. Food poisoning.
Apple smoked dumplings with the hamsters with the fur.
That could be the advertisement. Like we finally get like, I don't know, $200 and we do our first like late night commercial.
It'll be like the Quiznos one with the rats, except ours will be with that song and hamsters.
Oh yeah, the Quiznos subs. I think we should cover that, but make it like really like legit cover.
Quiznos subs like a Nickelback.
Oh yeah, like a rat. I don't want to disregard Crumb's question, by the way. I think that's a great one, and I think I'm very happy that she was able to send one in last minute. That's like pretty crazy. It's like in the movies where the train is going, or like a plane or whatever, and it's that last scene, and they got to run to catch the train or catch the plane. I feel like that was her email for sure.
Well, what would your last meal be if you were convicted of some sort of
Like
internet
heinous
crime and you were sentenced to death?
So if I was being sentenced to death from a heinous crime, so there's a couple of it's hard. This is a hard question because it's kind of like what food is like my go-to, my meal that I always like the most, and that's always mac and cheese. Like mac and cheese is always my favorite because Andrea makes like the best mac and cheese in the world. She makes from scratch, like homemade sauce, the cheese and everything, and then she usually makes like either bacon wrapped chicken or something, something just like really good. So that's like my favorite. That'd be like my thing. That would be like definitely a death row meal for sure. But then there's also the other side where this is gonna make me sound really basic, but like a really fancy spread of meals with like a I don't even want to say it out loud because I'm gonna get made fun of. I don't even care though. I'm gonna say it. I like me a good cheese board. I'm just gonna say it. Cheese boards are great.
So fancy.
It's not even. It's like it has a negative connotation, but it's like I'll put a board, like a piece of wood in front of you with some really good pepper jelly, some cheese, and some like prosciutto or something, and you eat that and you tell me that's not good, and then you cake away your casting judgment of me. But I would say just way too long of a tangent. I would say probably like a mac and cheese or something like that would be mine. But what about you, Mr. J. Wick?
I'm just imagining Josh Karsh, this hardened criminal with a face tattoo, and he's gotten swole from the joint, and he wants a cheese board for his last meal.
I think, no, that's what I'm imagining too, like really, and then the warden comes up and I whisper, I'm like, cheese board, and they bring out a fancy cheese board. I got the little knives. I eat my last little like cracker with like the prosciutto and the pepper jelly and maybe some sort of like aged cheese. And I take my napkin out of my thing, wipe my mouth, and then I look at everybody in the audience and I say, I'll see you in hell. And then they zap me.
So dork.
Sorry. Anyways, what about you though? What's your meal?
My last meal wouldn't be tasty in the flavor department. It would be tasty in the revenge department. So I would get a high fiber smoothie, just as high of fiber content as you can get. Just give me grass and dirt and whatever else, the flax seeds, put whatever quinoa, blend it all together, whatever fiber crap you can put in there, do it. And then I want a big old laxative milkshake. I want a big chocolate with beans milkshake. I just want it to be nasty, and I don't want it to settle right. So when I'm getting my injection, when apparently when you die, kind of things happen and come out sometimes.
Yuck. Yeah.
My goal is to stick it to the man. And when I die, that chair is going to be covered.
Ew.
And they're going to have to clean it up.
Yuck. Oh, you just I love last episode, well, 2 episodes ago, there's a story about pooping your pants, and then Kyle was kind of teasing you, and I can't wait for Kyle McCracken, I can't wait for you to listen to the segment. I'm excited this is one for the ages. But to come back to that, you're very, very practical thinker, John. You think 3 steps ahead, and I think that's something that's a great attribute about you. And it's creative thinking, because I wouldn't, most people wouldn't think of that, but that's tactical. That's
it's probably a good interview question too.
Yeah, it'd be for like a job interview. What would be your last meal? You're like, let me tell you about that real quick.
And then they're prepared for this one.
Yeah, real quick, and you pull out a Fiber One bar and take a bite, and you're like, well, listen
here. Here's the plan.
Here's the plan. All right, I'll get you in on this. Oh, there's I have a funny story. I'll wait until the podcast is done just to spare people, but I'm going to tell you a funny story after this, work related. Not like my current job, but a couple jobs ago.
Okay.
But I think you'll find it funny. I'll just spare everybody the gross details. I'm not involved in it. It's just like, it's a lore of almost, it's like a legend. But yeah, I don't even know where to go from this point. Maybe we hit the people with some power-packed wisdom or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we could hit them with some PPW. Power wisdom.
You don't have to give any, actually, because your death row meal thing, that's power-packed wisdom. Like, that's for all you punk rockers, you skateboarding delinquents, all you people like to stick to the man. That's John's power-packed wisdom is just incredible,
I can dig it.
You should be proud of that, man. You didn't even mean to do that, and you did it. It's just another brilliant one.
Your orange jumpsuit is just filling up, and you look like the girl from Willy Wonka who ate the blueberry. And they're rolling this poop-filled jumpsuit out of the executioner chamber.
The smell, yeah.
It's just squishing out your neck hole, because that's probably, I guess, your feet holes too.
Then it playing in the background, they hear the whistle like the oompa loompa doompa dee poo.
So gross.
I'm imagining like these law enforcement officers are pushing you out, and then there's these Oompa Loompas. They're singing and just they're like
mopping up the trail behind you.
Mop up the poop.
Doopity doop.
Doopity doop.
That's funny.
I don't even know. I guess my power packed wisdom is more of a challenge. I want everybody to either, if you haven't already, watch the original Willy Wonka and then watch the new Tim Burton one with Johnny Depp, and then tell me which one is your favorite out of those two, or the better one.
Yeah, leave a comment of that so we know you made it this far in the podcast. Leave a comment on our YouTube. Be like Willy Wonka or Char Char and the Char Char Factory. That's my abbreviated version of it. Char Char and the Char Factory. Yeah. So I guess we can end on the screaming goat I got for Christmas.
Thank you for tuning into our regularly scheduled program. Contact Josh and Jonathan at powerpackedpodcast@gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/powerpacked. See you next time, you dirty little rat babies.